vậy đó, giống như là
mở trí tuệ, khai mở trí tuệ. Bây
đúng
giờ
rồi.
thì cuộc sống của chúng ta sẽ như thế nào, và trí tuệ là gì đó. Bây giờ nó nhấn mạnh lại đó, nếu chúng ta không khai mở trí tuệ bây giờ thì cuộc sống của chúng ta sẽ trí tuệ là gì? Dạ rồi.
Dạ, coi sao nhỏ quá vậy ta.
Anh chưa tút rồi nha.
Dạ,
Dạ,
giống vậy đi. Dạ, giống vậy đi. Dạ, giống vậy đi. Rồi.
Dạ đúng
Dạ,
rồi, được rồi đó.
thank you. Rồi,
Dạ.
mình tới đâu? Intelligent people possess thinking. Wisdom differs from knowledge. The erudite person is someone who understands many aspects more profoundly than others, but they may not necessarily possess wisdom. However, a person who possesses wisdom has the opportunity to become erudite. Wisdom is also the foundation of sagaciousness and the foundation of prudence. Therefore, when we become a person with wisdom, we have the conditions to become everyone we desire. Let us understand the concept of wisdom. What defines a person with wisdom? How does one cultivate wisdom richness? Information structuring of wisdom. Currently, society overvalues the word wisdom, misunderstanding that wisdom comes from academic background or knowledge. We will analyze this concept very clearly and gradually light the lamp of wisdom within ourselves. Currently, society overvalues the word wisdom, misunderstanding that wisdom comes from academic background or knowledge. Wisdom is simply understood as a concept referring to the state of inner perception awareness. There are 5 levels of inner perception corresponding to level 5 levels of wisdom. Level 1 is the state of inner perception regarding people, objects, events, phenomena, and circumstances, discerning right or wrong, good or bad, true or false, and whether something should or should not be done. Level 2 is the state of inner perception that the source of life's origin stems from oneself. Level 3 is the state of inner emptiness. Level 4 is the naturally knowing state of the inner self. Level 5 is all the encompassing state of the inner self. We should not assume that a higher level is inherently better, but what is valuable is using the inner perception appropriate to the circumstances. Level 1 of perception. With this level of perception, all day we only see our children as wrong, our wife as incorrect, this action as wrong, or that person as bad for befriending. If someone consistently uses level 1 wisdom, the chain of suffering will be prolonged, and especially those who adhere to the scientific perspective are stuck here. Keeping this level in work matter is excellent, but if this level of perception is maintained toward people failing to separate work from the person and kept permanently suffering with people will continue. Level 2 of perception. Dạ, lên giùm.
Vâng. Nghĩ là hay để chúng ta đến nốt cái đoạn này được không ạ?
Level 2 is the state of inner perception that the source of life's origin stems from oneself. This means is that we feel that every problem arising in our lives originates from within ourselves. However, we neither resent ourselves nor blame ourselves or others. If we thoroughly grasp the formula for the source of life's origin and use that knowledge to share with many people to help them understand, our perception will simply be raised to level 2. When we thoroughly grasp the triangle of reality and share and spread this knowledge so that many people understand, we will gradually perfect level 1 perception. This means that the knowledge regarding the triangle of reality help us perfect level 1 perception, but move closer to level 2. In contrast, the knowledge of the formula for the source of life's origin help us raise our perception to level 2 while moving closer to level 3. Level 3 perception. Level 3 is the state of inner emptiness. When we receive a message, for example, when we face a person, an object, a circumstance, a phenomenon, or anything else, we hear and see the message transmitted from the outside. Immediately, we receive it with the sincerity within ourselves, hearing and seeing without being attached to the nature and feeling. That very moment initiates the state of inner emptiness. Those who accumulated blessings and merits will have these moments. But if someone has not yet opened this state of inner perception, it is acceptable. They can open it gradually. Later, however, only from the moment this state of inner perception is open do we truly begin to step into the world of the inner self. If it hasn't been opened yet, we are merely gradually approaching it. Level 4 of perception. Level 4 is the naturally knowing state of the inner self. This state appears frequently around the world in some famous people. Some famous people die. Who suddenly know something leading to great inventions, creations, or the writing of books with new ideas that benefit society. Level 4 wisdom, also known as wisdom without a teacher, is wisdom that is not taught by a teacher. There are two concepts. Wisdom with a teacher means our wisdom and understanding have been taught by a teacher. Means our understanding is not taught by a person. We download it from space civilization or from our accumulated total knowledge. There are moments when our state of inner perception involves naturally knowing, including naturally knowing what to say and naturally knowing what to do that is appropriate for the current circumstances. Level 5 is the all-encompassing state of the inner self. When the all-encompassing state of the inner self is opened, the worldview is unveiled. Some people sitting in one place can see everywhere in the world. When facing a person, some can encompass that person's past and future, knowing what their past was like and what their future will be. Some people can observe the birth and death of every species, knowing when a species will cease to exist, perish, or be born. Furthermore, some people sitting in one place can see through everything everywhere. These states of perception are called level 5 perception. However, we should not crave opening this for our normal lives. Sages indicate that opening up to level 3 or level 4 is sufficient. Opening to level 5 means life will no longer be normal. A wisdom rich person is someone whose state of inner perception transcends the problems that arise. If you manage to open level 5, level 4, or level 3 wisdom, but problems arrive daily, that does not represent a wisdom-rich person. In that case, we can only say you possess level 3 wisdom, level 4 wisdom, or level 5 wisdom. The person with wisdom, a person with level 1 wisdom, is someone whose inner state of inner perception can distinguish right from wrong, true from false, should from shouldn't, and good from bad concerning objects, events, phenomena, true from uh, uh, circumstances, and people. A person with level 2 wisdom is someone whose state of inner perception holds that the source of life's origin begins with me. They are someone who thoroughly understands and perceives that all objects and events originate from themselves, stemming from their own mental seeds and not from the object itself. A person with level 2 wisdom does not seek change from the outside, but clearly perceives the need for change from within the inner self. They hold the inner thought. Seeking change from others is the beginning of suffering. Changing oneself is the beginning of happiness. A person with level 3 wisdom is someone whose state of inner perception views people, objects, events, phenomena, and circumstances as inherently without problems. They are someone who always lives in the present reality and lives constantly with the sincerity within themselves. They are someone who always know they are hearing, knows they are saying, and knows they are knowing. They are someone who attains the state of peace and joy and inner tranquility. A person with level 4 wisdom is someone whose state of inner perception, naturally knowing what to say and naturally knows what to do that is appropriate for the current circumstances. They are someone who can connect with knowledge and understanding that transcends what they have heard, seen, spoken, known in the past. They are someone whose electromagnetic frequency can access space civilization. A person with level 5 wisdom is someone whose state of inner perception is unhindered by space and time. They are someone who has fully opened the 5 eyes: physical eye, wisdom eye, heavenly eye, dharma eye, Buddha eye. Energy structuring of wisdom. Wisdom carries three main energy sources: the energy of peace and joy, the energy of tolerance and acceptance, and the energy of appreciation and gratitude. If someone always carries these three energy sources within them, that person possesses the energy of wisdom. A person who maintains this energy source within them will generally illuminate everywhere they go. If we can circulate and maintain these three energy sources consistently, we can say that person consistently embodies appreciation and gratitude at the layer of feeling, tolerance and acceptance at the layer of nature, and peace and joy at the layer of the mind. This is also defined as a person with rich mental state. A person with a rich mental state is someone who carries the energy of wisdom, peace and joy. The first is the energy source of peace and joy. We have had the opportunity to learn about the state of inner emptiness, sincerity, tánh không, and peace and joy are three terms representing that when we perceive the sincerity within ourselves, the state of inner emptiness will initiate it, and the state of peace and joy will be attained. From this perspective, sincerity is information. When this information exists, the energy of tánh không will be initiated, and the material manifestation is the peace and joy of the inner self. Letting go, stopping, ceasing, cutting off peace and joy is the state of inner perception stemming from the sincerity within oneself, arising from hearing, seeing, saying, knowing without attachment to the nature and feeling layers of the person. Peace and joy is a state of inner perception, emotion in which desire and delusion regarding wealth, appearance, reputation, food, or sleep, or let go, stopped, ceased, or cut off. Peace and joy is the state of inner perception of knowing oneself is hearing, knowing oneself. Yeah. 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 Okay. Is seeing, knowing oneself is saying, and knowing oneself is knowing. So do we possess peace and joy? For example, if we are angry with our children, are we practicing desire and delusion regarding them? If you immediately let go, stop the desire and delusion regarding that matter, don't you instantly feel peaceful and comfortable inside without any burden? So at that moment, we exhibit the energy of peace and joy. But 3 days later, if we resume our desire and delusion regarding the child, and become annoyed with them again, we must initiate the energy source of peace and joy again. So how do we maintain the most sustainable source of peace and joy? The information of peace and joy stems from the sincerity within ourselves. It originates from hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing without attachment to nature and feeling instantly. We manifest the materiality of peace and joy. For example, if someone tells us something, at that moment, we know we are listening in peace and joy. If we see an event, we know we are just seeing it. And when we stop, we see it in peace and joy. When a person has peace and joy inside, sincerity inside, it is initiated by the nature of that person. If desire and delusion are oriented positively, it raises the energy vibration frequency. When the internal electromagnetic vibration state is balanced, it emits a super high energy source. Conversely, if we engage in desire and delusion in a negative direction, it lowers the frequency. Therefore, we are always full of energy. If we maintain peace and joy within the inner self, the energy is always super high. Since this originates from within us, based on the principle that we are the energy generator, it is blocked. It is due to our desire and delusion. Have we ever used a phone that freezes, or a computer that crashes, freezes, or lags? What do we do then to restart it from the beginning? We turn off the power and restart it. Similarly, no matter what disorder we have in life, press the peace and joy button. This is a type of wisdom energy that once initiated will restart everything from the beginning. Pressing the appreciation and gratitude button reinitiates the fruit. Pressing the tolerance and acceptance button reinitiates the cause. Pressing the peace and joy button reignites the awareness, and our wisdom naturally unveils. Pressing and circulating those 3 buttons daily and frequently will unveil wisdom. If we want to develop and increase the fruits of knowledge, use appreciation and gratitude. If we want to learn and develop knowledge from people, we use tolerance and acceptance. Unveiling wisdom will help us understand many things in life. This means the energy source of peace and joy has been initiated. The human connections coming to us become deeper and better, and the fruit in life may look surprising, but in essence, the energy source was initiated beforehand, leading to the outcome, tolerance and acceptance. The second energy source of wisdom is tolerance and acceptance. According to the UNESCO definition, tolerance and acceptance is respecting and understanding the differences of others regarding customs, ways of life, religious beliefs, race, and methods of action, allowing others to do things we do not approve of within certain limits to guide them voluntarily toward goodness. According to the human structure reference system, tolerance and acceptance is a state of inner perception of non-attachment to anything happening in the mind due to external circumstances. Tolerance and acceptance is the state of inner perception in which desire and delusion are stopped. Tolerance and acceptance is the state of inner perception in which desire and delusion are stopped. Those who have studied the principle of self-consciousness, operation, and understand total karma, total knowledge, total karma will understand this. When an undesirable event comes to us, meaning an undesirable fruit has ripened, the law of cause and effect should have ended there, right? In your opinion, should cause and effect have ended then? However, we lack tolerance and acceptance, so the undesirable result continues to be accumulated through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing in a negative direction. A new seed carrying negative electromagnetic charge is sown into our subconscious. Do you think the future results would tend to be undesirable? Conversely, if an undesirable event occurs, we stop the desire and delusion and show tolerance and acceptance toward the person. The seed is no longer sown in a negative direction, and the cause and effect ends right there. Why must we show tolerance and acceptance toward others? Because the results we have today were already dictated by our total knowledge. If that total knowledge did not exist, we would not receive that result. If this person didn't bring it, someone else would. And if no one else brings it, do you believe that we bring that result upon ourselves? Sometimes when total knowledge dictates that we must fall, even no one pushes us, we would trip over the banana peel we threw out ourselves and fall. Do you understand this point? Understanding this, we will no longer see people as problematic, even ourselves. If we can separate the undesirable result from the person and show tolerance and acceptance toward the person, we truly save our own lives. Why? Because when we are able to show tolerance and acceptance toward the person, we have ended the dạ lên giùm. The undesirable cause and effect when it occurred to us, appreciation and gratitude. Before we can practice appreciation and gratitude, we need to understand the concept of acknowledging thankfulness. Before we can practice appreciation and gratitude, we need to understand the concept of acknowledging thankfulness. What is acknowledging thankfulness? Acknowledging thankfulness is the key to opening the door to mastering life. Yeah, lên giùm. If someone possesses the state of acknowledging thankfulness, they will gradually find it easy to develop into appreciation and gratitude. Acknowledging means focusing on things that align with positive desires. Therefore, when we use the term acknowledging, it is synonymous with recording the good and positive details, preserving the good things about that person or event. Acknowledging oneself means acknowledging one's own context. It means choosing the context that serve as the foundation for the current result in one's life to share with others. Cái đó nó thiếu cái F. Foundation. It is still telling a story about one's past, but acknowledging and being thankful for those things, acknowledging oneself for achieving today's results. Those who know how to acknowledge, thiếu chữ A, and be thankful for their life context and acknowledge and be thankful for what they learned in the past will become great tellers in the future. Parents created the context for us to become who we are today, but if they unintentionally fail to acknowledge that context or acknowledge their child, the parent ends up being the excellent person in the listener's eyes, while the children are viewed as bad. Unintentionally, we accumulate negative merit for our children. If parents know how to acknowledge, our children will be very happy in the future. A child who has a father and mother who know how to acknowledge and be thankful for the past context that created who the parents are will immediately from a very standard set of beliefs, always acknowledging and being thankful what their parents did for them. This creates a very special child in the future. There is no need to talk much, and we also carry the energy source of peace and joy, tolerance and acceptance, and appreciation and gratitude. It is even more wonderful because we are using the energy of wisdom to illuminate our child's life. There are three key points. First, acknowledge and be thankful for oneself. Second, acknowledge the contribution people bring to us. Third, acknowledge the context of life in general that has led to who we are today. A person's life is like a river, beautiful at every bend, meaning we know how to acknowledge and be thankful for everything we experience. Then, wherever we go, we bring prosperity through the energy source of knowledge, thankfulness, and appreciation and gratitude. The energy source of appreciation and gratitude always exists within us. When the energy source of appreciation and gratitude is present, resentment does not exist. Where there is resentment, appreciation and gratitude has disappeared. Resentment is like darkness. When resentment appears, darkness floods in and light vanishes. When obviousness, taking for granted, exists, appreciation and gratitude is lost and resentment gradually appears. For example, it is obvious that grandparents are the parents of the child. So the mother must take care of the child. It is obvious that she is my wife, so she must take care of me. This way it is obvious that he is my husband, so he must be like that. It is obvious that you are the company boss who hired me to work, so you must pay me salary. This is why someone who is paid for 30 years in the 31st year, when the company faces difficulties and asks to defer the salary for a few months, employees strike, quit, and dissolve the company. There was a young man who generously helped a beggar, giving him 2 coins every day for 3 years straight. In the 4th year, the beggar returned, and the man gave him only 1 coin. The beggar asked, "Why only 1 coin today?" The young man replied, "I got married last month and need to save a bit of money, so I will only give you 1 coin from now on." The beggar slapped the young man across the face and said, "It is your wife who took 1 coin from me." Regarding our loved ones, if we eliminate the sense of obviousness, taking for granted, resentment will automatically disappear too. We should ask ourselves, how many people participated in our existence today? It is immense, not to mention our development. It is vast. Appreciation and gratitude is the state of inner emotional movement before an object, event, phenomenon, mất chữ P ở đây nè, or person. It is the internal state where obviousness, taking for granted, does not exist. It is the state when we acknowledge the reason for the presence, the importance, and the usefulness of people and all things. The state when we acknowledge the reason for the presence, the importance, and the usefulness of people and all things. Inner emotional state of being touched, moved, is the state of internal feeling. It is something we do not deserve to have but possess. It is something the self receives that goes beyond the desire and the illusion regarding the reality of wealth, appearance, reputation, food, or sleep. For example, someone falls into a very difficult situation and at that moment can no longer engage in desire and delusion. For instance, someone is heavily indebted and has borrowed from everyone possible, and all have refused. In the moment, we shut down all desire and delusion about people who could help us. Suddenly, someone appears. That person was not within our desire and delusion as someone who could help, yet they offer assistance in our time of danger. At that moment, we are deeply moved. Thus, difficulties arise because we lack the inner emotional state of being touched. Moved by people, all connection and development in this life happen because of that moment of feeling moved, obviousness, taking for granted as an enormous internal trap. We cannot control the mental state of others, but we can control our own mental state. Therefore, maintain appreciation and gratitude toward your spouse, children, and parents. We should not take care if they are thankful or moved by us, or if they practice appreciation and gratitude toward us. We only manage ourselves. That is our cause, and we will reap the fruit later. If we analyze the psychology and state of people as their desire and delusion grows, our actions must become even more extraordinary and greater. Only then will people be moved. Therefore, cultivating being moved is a peak form of development, causing us to grow powerfully to an unimaginable extent. However, if customers are not made aware of this over time, it can collapse in an instant. If company employees, leaders, and product service developers know how to manage their costs, meaning that regardless of the customer's behavior, they always feel moved and maintain appreciation and gratitude toward the customer, and they practice appreciation and gratitude whether the customer buys the product or not, they will manage the cost, and the fruit does not need to be discussed. Appreciation leads to possession. Gratitude leads to external existence, material manifestation of wisdom. The material manifestation of wisdom is simple, joyful, trusting light. Simplicity leads to joyfulness. Trust leads to lightness. We all want a joyful life. Life is simple when it is joyful. Life is trusting when it is light. It is that simple. So if we trust people, we are light. If a person's life is heavy, they lack trust, especially trust in people. Trusting and simple constitute a very balanced state. The most balanced term we use today in life is simple. We should not use the word simple as the first word when saying about everything in life. If someone asks, the first word we say is, lên giùm. Simple. If someone asks if we can do something, if someone guides us step by step, we can do it. We don't know anything because we are new. We see it as simple. For example, if someone talks about consulting and training on the inner self, helping a person understand their inner self and live in peace and joy, if we enroll in the inner self consulting and training expert program and study in a good inner self consultant and trainer guides our learning, we can do it. What's the big deal? We haven't done it yet, but we see it as simple because we see others doing it simply. Here are some quotes from experts that you can refer to fully understand these concepts. Making complex tasks simple, you're an expert. Doing simple tasks frequently, you're an industry professional. Doing frequent tasks with dedication, you are victorious. Thinking simply about complex tasks results in new laws. Thinking complexly about simple tasks results in new fields. Conclusion: we have just explored the concept of wisdom through the information structuring of wisdom, the energy structuring of wisdom, and the material manifestation of wisdom. We express appreciation and gratitude to the high mentors for their guidance, appreciation and gratitude for the knowledge, and appreciation and gratitude for the cause and connection within total knowledge that give us the opportunity to access and receive this precious knowledge. That's all.
Mình thả tim cho chị Tiffany đi cả nhà.
Biết ơn cả nhà.
Thank you.
Em xin chị Anh tắt record hả? Em xin có bài xây tâm đắc ngộ.
Rồi để chị.
Dạ. Em thấy đọc như vậy là cũng hơi cực cho người đọc mà